everybody. We had a tremendous open date. Really loved the attitude of our players on Tuesday and Wednesday. Came out to work, gave us 2 great days of work. We had a tremendous what we call Tiger Bowl on Thursday. Younger guys got to show their talents. Had a lot of fun. The older guys got to practice, got to coach, and we had a tremendous day. And then our guys got to go home for the weekend, spend some much-needed time with their families. I thought it was really good. Guys were excited to go see their families and came back with a tremendous attitude. I'm looking forward to see our team today. Today's Tell the Truth Monday, and the truth is we got a great Alabama team coming into town. And it's going to be primetime football. It's why you come to LSU. It's why you come to coach LSU. We understand the rivalry. I understand it. Our team understands it. We understand the importance of this football game, but it's game 4 of our new season. And that's the way we're going to treat it. We're going to have a tremendous practice one day at a time. The key is for us to explode at Saturday night at 7 o'clock. I know that the Tiger Walk is going to be something special. I know that Tiger Stadium is going to be something special that night. One of the greatest venues in all of college football in the world to play. So we're looking forward to playing Alabama at our home on Saturday night at 7. Now, talking about the Alabama Crimson Tide, 8-0, 20-game winning streak. Coached by one of the greatest coaches in college football history, Nick Saban, has done a tremendous job along with his staff. Offensively, as you guys know, I know Lane Kiffin very well. He's a great play caller. He's a great game day caller. He can see things very fast. He knows what the defense does, and he knows the right play to call. You can see him changing plays on the sideline. He's excellent at it. He was born with a football in his hand under Monty Kiffin and been studying defense with Monty Kiffin all his life. So he knows defenses, he knows offenses, he knows what hurts it, and he knows how to do a great job on game day. He's averaging almost 500 yards a game, 44 points per game, does a tremendous job. He has freshman in Jalen Hurts. It's like defending the Wildcat back there. There's another guy that can run the football, another tailback back there. You have to consider him as one that can also throw the ball. I really like their offensive line. I think it's the best offensive line we've seen, led by Cam Robinson, who's a great left tackle. The thing I like about their offensive line is they execute. It's nothing fancy, but they come off the football, they double team, you come off of blocks, and their backs hit the hole very quick. O.J. Howard is obviously the best tight end we've played against. Lane knows how to use them. He uses them on the boots, waggles, blocks very well, and also can stretch the field. On defense, obviously the best defense we've seen. Might want to be one of the best defenses in college football history. We'll see at the end of the year. The thing that's not surprising, but really amazing, they have 64 tackles for losses and 32 sacks. And we have to protect our quarterback. It's going to be protection first. We have to protect our quarterback in order to get the ball down the field. We're going to have to do some things with Leonard that enable him to be in space and run the football. I think their defensive line is very well coached. Carl Dunbar is a great LSU Tiger here, played for Pete Jenkins and is a Pete Jenkins mentor. And as you know, we got Pete with us, and those guys do the same techniques as he taught for all these years. On special teams, they're very explosive, and they're very solid across the board. The only thing that makes them win is they're efficient, well-coached, and they're +4 in the turnover ratio. They go get the football. They're very opportunistic, and they take care of the football on offense. Getting back to our team, we're going to be excited to play. We're glad to have Leonard back. We're glad to have Dave Aranda in the defense doing the things that they're doing. We're getting better on special teams. Steve Ensminger is doing a great job, along with our whole offensive staff, of calling plays and getting the ball in the playmakers' hands. So we got a lot of work to do this week. We're going to take it one game at a time, and we'll be ready to play on Saturday night. Any questions?
Coach, Dwayne Thomas recently gave an interview where he said something along the lines of dominating Alabama's offense, and Some people may say that's bulletin board material. Other people say LSU needs to have an attitude and kind of have some swagger to believe they can win this game. Where do you stand on that?
That's wrong. You shouldn't have said it. And you don't win the game in the papers. You win the game on Saturday night. So I'm going to have a little conversation with Dwayne.
Hey, Coach, what do you expect out of Danny Etling? What does he need to do for your football team against this defense you're talking about?
First of all, we're proud of Danny Etling and what he's done and the type of young man he is and what he means to our football team. He's a quiet leader. He leads by example. He's a hard worker. He takes hits back there, doesn't say a word, and wants to get better. He's always in the office studying film, getting better. So the type of young man he is, we're very proud that he's our quarterback. He has to manage the game. He's going to get hit. He's probably going to get sacked once or twice. He needs to take care of that football, set his jaw, and come back and play again. Manage the game, call the plays, and just do the things that Coach Ensminger is asking him to do.
Coach, in the back, Alabama seems to be a strong second-half team. Do you think it's because of their adjustments, substitutions, or conditioning?
Could you say that again? I couldn't hear it.
I said Alabama seems to be a very strong second-half team. And do you think that's because of the adjustments they make, their conditioning, or substitutions?
I think it's a combination of both. They're very well coached, and they're like anything I would imagine that they make adjustments right away when it happens on the sideline. They fix things just as our staff does. I think they're very well conditioned. They have an excellent strength coach. They're big. They have depth. So all those things combined for a great second-half team. But so are we. We've outscored our guys 73-7. It should be a battle.
Edo here on your left. What makes a play caller great? You talked about Lane having the anticipation of a game.
Yeah.
Is it just the feel for the unexpected or mixing it up?
I think it's knowledge. I think that Lane's very knowledgeable. He has a game plan. He'll call a play, but he sees him in a different defense. He can change it. I think his communication skills are excellent, and he's a big fundamental football coach, and he has great players.
Ed, do you expect to play Toby, start him on the offensive line this?
We're going to see this week as it goes, but obviously if he's ready to go, we're going to put him in. I think he's going to be well. And if he has a good week of practice, Tuesday's going to be a big day. We're going to go one-on-ones and stuff like that and see how he feels, if he's not too sore or anything. But if he's able to start, we're going to start him.
What are the options for Maya? What do you do with him if Toby goes in,
I'll let Jeff handle that. He's the manager. I would be telling you something that, Jeff has a couple options there. We'll talk about it. We talk about our personnel on Friday, how we're going to play everybody. So we won't know till Friday.
Coach, how do you think this game will impact your seniors' NFL careers?
Can you say that again?
How do you think this game will impact your seniors' NFL careers?
How this team will impact?
How do you think this game will impact your seniors' NFL careers? Because I know you have a lot of seniors
Yeah,
this year.
okay. Well, that's the furthest thing from my mind. I can promise you that, and we don't discuss that. I think that those guys are motivated to play for the LSU football team and their team, and then we talk about that stuff after the season.
I know when you were still at USC, you were recruiting Leonard. What did you think of him as a player at that point in time? And did you ever feel like you had a legitimate chance to get him?
I'll answer that last one. No. Frank Wilson was recruiting him. No. He came out to camp. Really liked him. And I didn't know him that well. I'd call him every once in a while, and he'd be doing push-ups, sit-ups, and talk to his dad a little bit, and just was amazed at a high-character kid he was. When he came to camp, we felt that he would be a great player, but I had no idea the type of football player he'd turn out to be. I think he's the best football player in the country. I think he's one of the best football players I've ever been around.
Coach, last year Alabama all but shut down Leonard Fournette. What'll change this week to make that different?
Last year, Alabama shut down Fournette. What's going to be different this year? Is that your question? Hopefully a lot. We're going to do some things with Leonard that he's able to do. I think that this is whatever happened last year is the past. And we're going to have a great game plan for Leonard. But I will say this to you, that it's going to be very tough moving the football on this defense. They're one of the best defense I've ever seen.
Yeah, Ed, over here. How would you compare the Alabama this year and say last year to say some of the USC teams that you you were insistent on.
Yeah, very, very similar. I think they're better defensively. They're stronger. They're stouter. They play with great technique. They're very opportunistic, like I said. And on offense, they're a spread offense. I mean, you think of the great Alabama teams, great on special teams, great on defense, maybe scoring 25, 30 points a game. This team's able to score 50 points a game with Lane in there. And he can hit the long ball at any time. He's great at the nakeds, the waggles, and the boots. He just has a complete package.
Coach, here in the middle, all the changes that you made offensively and all the different things you were doing and your ability to throw the football, how much better equipped do you think it makes you to give you a chance to win the game on Saturday night?
I do believe it gives us a great chance of moving the football and able to be able to spread the field, be able to take shots, be able to protect the quarterback first. That's going to be the whole key of the game. Be able to get Leonard the football in some plays that we think that he runs very well. And second of all, to protect the quarterback. We know we can. We think that we can get some receivers down the field, but we got to be able to protect them long enough to be able to protect the quarterback to get those plays down the field, and that's going to be the key to the game.
Coach in the middle here, Brett Martell with Associated Press. We've heard you say since you took over that what LSU does here is not about you, and I think everybody gets that. Yet, how can you reconcile that with, I guess, the fact that the outcome of this game could have a considerable effect on your coaching career and your legacy as a coach?
Last thing, that's way out there, man. I didn't even think about that. The focus is about these players, the LSU family, about to tell the truth one day at a time. Look, these next 4 weeks are going to pass fast. My job is to do the best thing I can do for this team today, let the chips fall where they may, and everything's going to take care of itself.
Coach, over here on the left, bottom left, no players on this team have beaten Bama. Can you sense the hunger for this group, especially older guys, to get a win?
I think it's a combination of both. It's respect. They do respect this football team. They do want to have success against them. I think that 2 years ago that they felt that they played good enough to win the game, and some unfortunate things happened. Last year they handed it to us, and we know that. Similar like we knew that Ole Miss handed it to us over there, and we had a chip on our shoulder against Ole Miss. So I expect those guys to come out hungry, wanting to win the football game, obviously, but they know that the type of football game we have to play in order to have success against this team.
Yeah, Coach, on the flip side of that, do you feel this losing streak wearing on the fan base, on the community that wants so desperately to see LSU beat Alabama?
Yeah, I went to my son's game this week in McNeese State, and I kind of felt that a little bit. But look, hey, I'm from Louisiana. I'm a Tiger fan too, so I get it. I get it. Everywhere I've been, I put on the LSU Alabama game, whether it was in Miami, New York, or USC. Want to see it and cheer for the Tigers. I get the passion, and that's the way it should be. And I know that the people are not satisfied with the way it's gone, and I get that. So we understand that. But you know what? When we walk in that stadium Saturday night, it's not going to be about that. It's going to be about getting out, cleats in the grass, and playing fundamentals and taking care of that football.
And Alabama's sack numbers, is that scheme, or do they just have physically superior players?
Both. I think they have great pass rush technique. They have great scheme. They overpower you. They overscheme you. They know how to attack protections. We're going to need to be really good and smart the way we protect our quarterback.
Coach, being a defensive coach in college football, do you ever look at Nick as the kind of the gold standard of what you can accomplish defensively? And do you then ever marvel at his ability to roll classes through but still keep the same consistency?
Yeah. You look at the recruiting classes he's had top recruiting classes. I've tried to get a lot of these guys that he's recruiting. I know the type of player he recruits. The guy does an excellent job. He's a great defensive coach. He's been a great defensive coach. He's had great defensive lines. That's where it all starts. Very fast, big and physical and linebacker, and in the right position. A lot of respect for what he does.
Hey, Ed, back here on the left. Speaking of that talent, when you look at your roster and you look at Nick's roster, can you make an argument that Saturday night's matchup, the talent that will take the field on both sides, may be one of the greatest collections of talent collectively that you've come across in any individual game?
Yeah, at some positions, no question. There's some positions, yes. And we like our football team. We like the guys that we have. We think that we still need to get better at some positions to get to where we want to be. But obviously, it's a great group of young men on both sides.
Coach, how have you used these 2 weeks leading into the game to monitor Leonard's ankle and try to keep him in game shape without, keeping him off it to an extent? Or
Well, he did some things, conditioning-wise, not on the football field, and that we feel that he's going to be in better condition. Obviously, we limited his reps, but he did get some good work. We kind of monitored it as we went on. Jack Marucci does a great job along with Tommy Moffitt, so I listen to what those guys tell me, we do it.
Coach, Tier Gibson, in the past you guys have been a little bit of a slower starting team, being tied at halftime with Southern Miss and Ole Miss. I'm just curious if you guys are working on any improvements to be able to start a little bit faster so that what happened to Tennessee doesn't happen to LSU.
Well, you bring up a very good point, but I'm going to tell you what my mentor, Pete Carroll, told me. You can't win the game in the first quarter. You can't win the game in the second quarter. You can't win it at halftime. You can't win it in the third quarter, but you darn sure better win it in the fourth quarter. So we're happy with what we're doing at halftime adjustments. We're happy with what we're doing in the second half. But we know you bring up a point. We need to start faster. We need to make some good decisions on defense, some good decisions on special teams, and protect the quarterback to be able to play against Alabama. We don't want to get behind against a great football team.
Ed, because they're so good at turning turnovers into touchdowns on defense, how do you balance that with your desire to, as you said, be aggressive on offense and try to balance that aggressiveness with taking chances but not making the kind of mistakes that could cost you?
You have to be smart. It's about protection first. It's really about protection first, and make sure that nobody's free. Make sure that the guy that's blocking the guy he's supposed to can block him, and he has a proper technique. And that's what it all starts to me. And then taking care of the football. Our guys have done a pretty good job the last couple of weeks of taking care of the football, the running backs. Danny, don't make any decisions. Don't force the ball where you don't need to because they're going to get it. And then again, realize that they're going to make plays too. This is going to be a battle. Those guys are going to make plays. If we do make a mistake, we have to wipe it out and go on to the next play. And we have to, on special teams, take care of the ball, go get it, make some plays on special teams, and also continue to create turnovers on defense. We have to match them.
Coach in the back, for this game, it seems like there would be a lot of nerves and pressure going into it. So what do you do to keep yourself and your team mentally prepared and focused for this game?
Say that again now.
What is it that you do to kind of keep yourself mentally prepared and focused? Because it seems like there would be a lot of nerves and pressure going into this game.
Thank you. Here's the whole thing, and every week brings a different distraction. So we stay on our regiment, tell the truth Monday, competition Tuesday, no turnover Wednesday, no repeat Thursday, focus Friday, and before you know it, it's Saturday. And on Saturday, in our hotel, we have a strict regiment of things that we do to keep them focused. Now, obviously, there's going to be college game day there. Guys are going to be watching. It's a late night, 7 o'clock game. They're going to watch those things, and we can't stop that. They're going to be on their Twitter. They're going to do things. They're going to call their girlfriends. Everybody does that. But when we get them there, we have little drills. We have little sayings that click them back in. So hopefully that regiment and that routine in Game 4 is going to pay off Saturday night.
Hey, Coach. Mario Jerez, Spanish play-by-play man. A few weeks ago, you talked about maturing as a head coach, and you've coached against some good teams before. And obviously, this is a huge game for the team and for the program. But just talking about yourself, what makes you think that you're more ready for the challenge now, leading your team against the number 1 team in college football?
Yeah. Well, we have a good team. We have good players. I'm at a good school. We have a great coaching staff, and we're playing at home. We're playing the best stadium in the world to play, so all those things are an advantage. This ain't nothing about me. I think I'm more prepared to lead a football team because I'm able to delegate authority, let guys do what they need to do. And again, when I took over this team, I knew we had a good football team. And it was our job to put them in position to make plays. But as you see, we're starting to play as one team, one heartbeat, and that's my whole objective.
Coach, here in the back, kind of like the bulletin board material question earlier, when it comes to, I guess, trying to change the mentality and change the outcome of the last few matchups against Bama, is there a balance you have to have between the confidence and then the bulletin board side?
I think it's the way we approach a football game. You can go into the season and you can put red letter games and you can say, hey, we're going to do everything we can do to beat this football team and then not play good against this football team. I think that's the wrong approach. I really do. I think that when you go through the season, if you treat every opponent the same and you treat them the same in your preparation, that you're going to have a consistent effort with your football team. But obviously you need to be smart and know that this is a rivalry game. Know that guys are going to be excited. The motivation is going to come from within, so we'll be ready to play. The way I'm going to talk to the team today, they're going to understand how much confidence I have in this football team against a great Alabama football team.
Back in the middle here, could you recall your first impressions of Alabama defensive lineman Jonathan Allen, and also how you view his development as a player?
Yeah. I see him jumping over that tailback that tried to cut him and hitting the quarterback underneath the jaw. Great effort, tremendous athlete, good hip flexibility, great hands, very well coached, and plays with a motor. I have a vision of that jumping over that tailback, hitting that quarterback.
Coach, people debate crowds' impacts on games. Alabama went to Tennessee, 100, 2,000, whatever, had no problem. Can Tiger Stadium really affect the game?
Yes, no question it does. It's an intimidating place to play. I've been on the other side. But here's what I tell our guys. Big plays fuel emotion. They're there. You got to give them something to cheer about. And obviously I know it's going to be very loud. It's going to be hard for those guys to make adjustments and calls when our fans are screaming. It is an advantage, no question.
You wouldn't imagine anyone would leave at halftime this week, would you?
Yeah, that's not my job. I know I won't be leaving at halftime for sure.
Ed, you said last week that you and Lane talk every week, but that you were cutting it off. This next to it. But you said you might ignore one of his calls if he called you last week. Did he ever call you?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that, but he knows we're not talking this week, and I'll talk to him after. He's a very dear friend of mine, and I wish him the best in everything he does except this week.
So, and lastly, some of the other injury things like Shark, you mentioned missed last week. Foster, I think, was out a little bit, and J.D. Moore. Give us an update on those guys.
Besides the guys that are out, besides the players that are out for the season, we should be at full speed come Saturday night. We're probably in the best shape we've been physically and injury-wise this Saturday night.